Hello, and thank you for clicking on Literacy Volunteers of Harrison County YouTube channel. We're a nonprofit United Way agency, and we provide these videos to you free of charge. We would appreciate if you could give them a thumbs up and share them with your friends. Today we're looking a little bit, since school is out and the kids are going to be out and home for the summer, we would like to have them continue to keep reading and to learning over the summer so that when they start back up in the fall, they're a little bit ahead of the game. So this is called Let's Get Reading this summer, and we want to look at 10 ways that we can help kids get to read in the summer. We want to, one way we could do it is to get inspired by Hollywood. A lot of movies can be a great way to get kids excited about reading. There are film adaptations of popular children's books. On Netflix, there's one called Fantastic Mr. Fox that's based on a children's book. You could do it two ways. You could read the book and then watch the movie, or you could watch a movie and then read the book and have a discussion with your child how the book may differ from the movie, or vice versa, or what they liked about the book and the movie. Things like that to get them excited about reading and wanting to know more about some of these movies, these popular movies that are based on books. Take a book-themed vacation. There's a little website to start. You can try reading Liz Gorton Scanlon's All the World. It just talks about different things you can explore. It doesn't have to be a book-themed vacation to a faraway country or another state even. There are a lot of things around us that we could read books about, and then we would go out and take a little mini vacation on a weekend to check them out, to see some of the good things to do, or get your child interested in looking and learning some things. A lot of times different libraries around, and there are 2 libraries in Harrison County, and there are libraries in other counties. They may have in-person literary events where that person that wrote the novel or the book comes and sits down and talks about it and signs copies, and they'll just make appearances at bookstores, and that helps the children to make a connection between an author if they actually see the person who wrote the book and the book that they read. There are a lot of many experiences that they will share with them about how they came to write the book, or what about their life is similar to the events in the book, different things like that. Another kind of book we can read are cookbooks. Get cooking with books. If your child likes to cook or experiment in the kitchen, we can encourage them to read. Not only does it teach them about reading, but there's a lot of math in recipes. 1/4 of a cup, 1/2 of a cup, a teaspoon, a tablespoon, things that you can relate to mathematics and to reading. And it teaches them practical skills, and they create something that's important to them that they've read about and then they created, and they can be proud of it, sharing it with other people, with the family or their friends. What about Wise Up on magazines? A lot of students may not want to read books or novels, but a lot of them are interested in magazines, and they cater to many interests, and they can inspire kids to read deeply on subjects that they enjoy. Sports Illustrated and National Geographic both make kids editions. You can read the adult editions, but they make kids editions of their magazines so that the kids can read them and learn more things about them. A lot of these also have electronic editions available. If your kid brought their iPad home from school for summer, and you could download an electronic book, an e-book, which is something that they could read and have some fun, or an e-magazine, something they could read. You could create a reader's theater. Parents can bring books to life by staging scenes from favorite stories. We act out characters, read scenes aloud, use props from around the house. My brother and sister and I used to do this when we were younger. Read something and then kind of act it out. You get to use your imagination. They can imagine themselves in the roles of those favorite characters, and they can make deeper connections to what they're reading. If you put yourself into the story, you have that willing suspension of disbelief, then a lot of times that makes the book more special to you, or if it relates to your life. We can also listen to books. There are audio books. If you're taking a vacation or you're driving to a faraway place, get a book on tape or an audio book, and your child could put their earbuds in or a headset, and they can listen to books on tape, or we can check those out at the library. iTunes has those available, and they can learn some more about these books that maybe if you find a favorite author, then you can encourage them to read some of the books by that author. And then throw a blog party. Make reading social. We're helping our kids set up a reading blog on different sites such as Blogger, WordPress, TypePad, Tumblr, and they read a book and then publish some or put some things out there that they think about it. Someone else may respond to other things they think about it and start a discussion. It encourages them to become good writers as well because they're writing blog posts. And then we're going to get a group of our children's friends involved. We can have them all set up and they can read the same book and talk about that, sort of like an online book club for children in the summer. You can also have a series. Many authors write a whole series of books and publish them as that series. So they'll read it, Babar for very young children, Lord of the Rings for older children. There's all kind of books out there, the Boxcar series. Different things, you read one book and you maybe get interested, it's like a soap opera and it continues on and on and on, a serial of books. We want to be strong and read hard. Parents need to model behavior they would like to see in their children. Summer is a great time. You get books off the shelf that you may be reading and read them and give the child a book and everyone sits in the sun or everyone sits out and reads the book. You go to the beach. A lot of people read on the beach and as they're doing other things, of course, to keep them healthy. But reading is a good thing to do in your leisure time to make some spare time to read. We also have some activities that we want to help to keep our kids reading. We want to have kids read to you at bedtime. It's time to go to bed. We're going to read a bedtime story. Kids like this because it extends the amount of time they get to stay up. And you get to hear them read, and you can also help them to learn some things about what they're reading. The New York Public Library online has a list of the best 100 children's books over the last century, the last 100 years. Pick a couple of books off of there. I know my sister and her kids read the Harry Potter series at bedtime. A lot of different things that you can read at bedtime. And then this is like acting things out, but you could have a book-themed party. Alice in Wonderland automatically comes to my brain because that's a popular, you could do a combination of things I've talked about. Watch the movie, read the book, have a party, do all of those things. Act out the characters, fix food that's found in the book. Make your own book-themed decorations for the party. All of these things could center around a whole summer and could encompass just one book. Start a garden and read about them. There's a lot of books out there on gardening. Plants, how they grow, vegetables, how they grow, what the sun does, all of those different things. You can go on and search online, Google kids gardening, and have a whole bunch of different ideas. You can maybe start plants, little plants in cups, and then move them to larger things. But we want to have our kids read books about how plants grow, and then have them sow those seeds and see how this happens. A hands-on thing. Instead of just reading about it, we can actually see what's going on. We want to learn about creatures in our own backyard. There are a lot of children's books on insects or small animals or even plants that you find in your backyard. And then if you have your children read those and then explore your yard, or the park, the county park, if you don't have a backyard, or if there's not enough grass in your backyard, and then you can investigate those things and compare them. And the last one I have, there's hundreds of ideas, but sometimes kids like to learn about the weather. When I was younger, I always liked to sit outside and watch a thunderstorm, thunder and lightning. A lot of people are afraid, but I like to do that. And you can have kids read about the wonders of meteorology. There's not just those. There are contrails in the sky and certain types of contrails, certain types of clouds, all different things about the weather. And what better time in the summer than to get out? You could talk about humidity, you can talk about temperature, different things like that. Only important thing that we want to do is to keep our children reading through the summer and throughout their entire lives, because if we instill that in them as young children, they'll keep that passion for reading forever, and it's very important to have. So try some of these out and give us a thumbs up and share with your friends.